வணக்கம் என் உயிரினு மேலான இனிய தமிழ் மக்களே. This is your host Venki with another interesting episode of Southern Spice, the only Tamil program on FM and AM radio in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area. We are on 1310 AM in Parsippany, 96.7 FM Edison, New Jersey, and 540 AM in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut region. Also streaming live on Southern Spice USA, Facebook, and YouTube channels. So today, in the series of Gifted Gabber, overachieving young high schoolers, I have a very interesting personality to introduce to all of you. Her name is Adhiti Parupalli, and she's the founder and president of Art to Awe, a program dedicated to providing a platform for individuals to express their artistic talents and harness the power of art, essentially. So she's currently a junior at Ellington High School in Connecticut. Adhiti aspires to pursue a career in healthcare. So she's driven by her curiosity for biology and is committed to amplifying pediatric voices. So Adhiti serves as the president of the Connecticut chapter of ICANN and the editorial coordinator for the entire ICANN network, creating the monthly newsletter distributed across 4 continents. So she's presented at the 2024 Pediatric Academic Societies Conference in Toronto and the 2024 ICANN Summit in Bari, Italy. So at this moment, Adhiti, in that summit, Adhiti was honored with the distinguished PASS 2024 PTN and M Print Hub Panelist Award by Jumo Health, and she won the logo design competition for the Moderato clinical trial study hosted by Teddy Network. We're going to talk a lot more about this with Adhiti, just to get to know what these awards are. So Adhiti's passion for healthcare extends to legislative work and focused on maternal and neonatal healthcare and the nutritional health of infants and their families in the state of Connecticut. She's state and nationally certified as an emergency medical responder, EMR, and actively works on the ambulance. So in addition to her healthcare pursuits, Adhiti has a strong passion for scientific research, particularly in the field of bacteriology. She's conducted research on resistant Acinetobacter baumannii. I don't even know how to pronounce this. So and persistent Escherichia coli cells. So that's again something that I'm going to get deeper into while talking to Adhiti. So outside of the lab, she enjoys painting, singing, and volunteering at her local assisted living community and playing the flute in her school's marching band and wind ensemble. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and welcome Adhiti to Southern Spice. Hi, Adhiti, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's such a beautifully terrific bio. I was so excited reading it out because it has so much, and you're just a high schooler.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us about yourself, what you do, and let the viewers know you more.
Yeah, so my name is Adhiti. I am a rising senior at Ellington High School in Connecticut, and I would describe myself as a pediatric and maternal health advocate, especially in terms of nutritional care and improving overall health outcomes.
Okay, very good. And you are passionate about maternal and infant health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what sparked this interest?
Sure. So my freshman year of high school, I saw an application for a legislative internship at my state capital. I live in Connecticut, so the Connecticut state capital. And I applied and ended up working under my state representative, Jamie Foster, on Senate Bill on 986. And this was an act protecting maternal health. So during this bill, I was able to review testimonies from across the state of Connecticut for different healthcare organizations like the Department of of Public Health, the Office of Early Childhood, Connecticut Children's, and so many more. And being able to see all these different perspectives come together in order to form a final bill advocating for maternal and infant care really drove this interest for me. And I was even able to interview a doula during this process, and getting the firsthand knowledge from the doula about what moms really need in care and what they're lacking. For example, moms are so well treated before and during the birthing process, but after they give birth, the baby gets checked up on a lot, but no one really checks up on the mom as much. And so hearing these firsthand experiences from the doula, reading everyone's opinions from the testimony and putting it all together really helped spark my interest. And I ended up concluding the internship writing an op-ed on the bill, which was published in the Women's Media Center. And this op-ed helped spark awareness that this bill is out there, and this is what Connecticut is doing to improve health outcomes for moms.
Beautiful. So how did it become so personally meaningful to you?
Yeah, so my mom actually had a really rough birthing process. When I was born, I'm an only child. She had a C-section, so they had to cut me out of her stomach. And during this process, her blood pressure levels dropped super low. Her diastolic was in the 20s at one point, and her jaw was tightening, just so much pain. My grandparents were there, and this is a foreign country for them, and so they didn't really even know the language. And so it was just a really stressful time overall. So hearing about this much later really helped drive my interest for maternal health. My mom, even after I was born, she temporarily lost motion in her legs for a little bit. And hearing about this, hearing that it was difficult for her to walk for around 4 months, really tied into the bill that I already worked on and made this much more personal to me.
Nice. So it kind of arose from a personal situation.
Yeah.
But the nice part of it is that you picked it up as your passion, project, and you gave wings to it. So that is the most important part. So from your perspective, Adhiti, what's the urgent need for advocacy in maternal and pediatric health today?
Yes. So one critical issue is drug and device shortages in hospitals. So a lot of hospitals don't have the devices and the medications they need to adequately treat their patients. And especially for neonates and for children, this is critical because if they don't have their first line therapy, they may have to use their second or third line therapies, which may not be as effective. And it's important to always give the child or baby the best chance of care. You don't want to give a treatment that may not be evidence-based or may not be studied as much by researchers to back up the fact that it's actually fully effective. So this is one critical issue that I've heard talk about at several different conferences. So I just want to touch on that. Additionally, children are not small adults. And this is a very common misconception in pediatrics. A lot of people think, oh, the child is half as small as the adult, just split the medication in half and give them half. But that's not true because children's bodies metabolize drugs very differently because of their underdeveloped organs, and splitting a drug in half and accounting for their weight doesn't actually make it effective and can make it harmful. So it's important to advocate for the fact that more research needs to be done to ensure that medications have the proper dosing recommendations for children as well. And then I'll also lastly touch on the fact that existing services such as WIC, SNAP, and in my state, the Connecticut Farmers Market Women Child Infant Nutrition Program aren't being utilized to their full potential. So these are programs that are evidence-based and support families' nutritional needs. So if families qualify for programs such as this, they're able to access better quality food that is more nutritional and high in vitamin and mineral value. And this is crucial because we want to make sure that families are getting the best possible nutritional care that they can, and especially their kids as well. And so a bill that I'll talk in a little bit more that I worked on my sophomore year of high school, HB 5003, worked to mitigate this disparity a little bit better.
Whoa, that's a lot to process, and you've been doing all this as a high schooler. That's phenomenal. So you spoke about the lack of child-specific medication, right, as a specific challenge currently.
Yes.
What is happening in that space, and why does it really matter?
Yeah. So a reason it's really hard to get proper dosing recommendations for child-specific medications is the fact that it is hard to get children into clinical trial studies. So in order to perform any clinical trial study, you need to get informed consent. And this means that the subject or the participant needs to give consent that they fully understand what's going on in the research process and they, with sound mind, agree to participate. But children under the age of 18 can't give consent. They can give something called assent, but the younger you go down, for example, neonates, babies, they can't willingly give you their consent that they want to participate in a study. And so this is important because, especially performing younger studies with babies, you have to get the parents' consent. And say the baby is in the NICU, which is the neonatal intensive care unit. You don't want to ask the parent to enroll their baby into a study when they're already going through such a difficult time. Their baby is in intensive care. And you also want to make sure that the parent is sound of mind. So you never want to tell the parent, oh, we have a drug. It could help your baby, but there's no guarantee. And the parent's going to be, oh, okay, does this have even the slightest chance of helping my baby? Let's do it. But that's not how clinical trials work, and that's generally not the case. And so it's important that there's regulations such as the IRB, Institutional Review Board, and many other different boards that ensure that parents are not being manipulated and that children getting put into these studies are willingly consenting and are fully aware of the risks and benefits of participation.
Terrific. So you have personally created initiatives to tackle these issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us more about those initiatives.
Sure. So I run a platform, in addition to R2A, I run a platform called EveryBabyNourished, which hosts different webinars to help advocate for the pediatric and maternal care. So one webinar I recently run is on the pediatric dosing recommendations, which I was just talking about. So talking about how children are not mini adults, talking about the different disparities in prescribing medications for kids and why it's important to have proper dosing. I've also presented, like you said before, at different conferences. So presenting at the 2024 Pediatric Academic Societies Conference in Canada, we talked about the fragmentation of pregnancy registries across the United States. So these are registries that store data from moms while they're pregnant, but the problem is they're so fragmented across the nation that this data can get lost and it's not as effective. So I propose streamlining the process, touching on some insight from a previous bill that I've worked on. And we also talked about drug and device shortages. And then in the ICANN conference, which stands for the International Children's Advisory Network in Bari, Italy, I was able to speak in front of many different healthcare organizations and prominent clinical trial investigators, such as Shriners Children's, Novartis, and Pfizer, all these different drug organizations. Mm-hmm. And in addition to advocating for children maternal health at these conferences, I run R2A. So this is a program that I started in 7th grade as a small initiative. It was just a way of me teaching art lessons to kids in my town and then donating the money to the local food bank. But every year since, I've expanded it. So I now collaborate with my town youth and human services. I've raised $1,400 to donate to the local food bank. And every year I just run the program at least once, sometimes twice or thrice. But it's just my small way of helping combat food insecurity and making sure that families get the proper nutritional care that they need.
Adhiti, that is a lot that you've done as a kid yourself. It's not commonplace. It's not. I haven't come across so many kids who have done so many, initiatives starting from 7th grade onwards, and you're just a rising senior currently, correct?
Yes.
Kudos to you. This is terrific. So apart from all of your own initiatives, right? Do you also work with other organizations? Basically that are also working towards similar causes like advancing maternal and pediatric health? Are there other organizations at all? And do you work
Yes.
with them?
So, like I mentioned, I'm part of the International Children's Advisory Network, or ICANN, and I do work with them as the editorial coordinator and also the president of the Connecticut chapter. But I worked with Phyllis Kennel, who is part of the Pediatric Trials Network out of Duke University. So the Pediatric Trials Network focuses on improving dosage recommendations for children. And so I've been working with her to create a chapter called Kids Research, which focuses on amplifying pediatric and youth voices in healthcare spaces. So that is one initiative that I've been working on. And in terms of legislation, I've worked on HB 5003, an act concerning child and family nutrition, which focuses on improving access to WIC, SNAP, and different programs across the state of Connecticut to improve nutritional outcomes for families and their children.
Mm-hmm. So that's a lot. So when you work on such legislations, you need to coordinate with your local congressperson and state senator, people like that,
Yes.
or how do you do that?
Yes. So I worked under my state representative, Jamie Foster, for different internships my freshman year. But if anyone is interested in getting into pediatric advocacy and youth advocacy, definitely reach out to your state representative, see what they're working on, see if you can contribute a small factor or small part in that.
Great. Yeah, that was going to be my next question, actually. So I was going to ask you, if other youngsters who are probably watching this and who get inspired by you, what kind of action can they take? How do they, take part in pediatric health? And that is one part. But I also want to extend that question into what role can the public play? If the public can play a role at all, what role can they play in helping to solve these kind of issues?
Yeah, sure. So partnering with local clinics or nonprofits is great for students. Hosting drives at hospitals is another great way for students to get connected and get in the field themselves. Another way would be just talking to your local representative, as I mentioned. The public themselves could help normalize the conversation around maternal and infant care. It's important to talk about programs like WIC and SNAP because the more they're talked about, the more widely known there are for families, and then families that could use this care actually know that it's available for them. And so writing op-eds, blog posts, talking about the fact that these options are there is really important. And then the last thing I'll say that the public can do is attend town hall meetings or public forums and talk to their town representatives and see what they're doing to help combat issues, not just maternal and pediatric health, but other healthcare issues across their town or community.
Great. I mean, being involved in all of this at such an early part of your life in such a young age basically shapes your thinking into what you want to become in the future, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a lot more about how this kind of advocacy has shaped your view of medicine and your future career path.
Sure. So for my view of medicine, I would say it shifted in terms of seeing more student representatives speaking out about issues that affect them. So more youth and pediatrics, more youth getting involved in pediatric advocacy and talking about discussions that concern them. For me personally, I am interested in becoming a pediatric infectious disease specialist. I'm only in high school right now, so that might change, but currently that's what I'm looking into, combining my love for bacteria research and also for pediatric care.
Terrific. Beautiful. So as a final question, Adhiti, I know I've held you for a long time. So what are do you have any upcoming initiatives or projects that you're currently working on?
Sure. So really briefly, I'll touch on them. One thing that I'm hosting very soon is another webinar with a doula that I interviewed my freshman year for SB 986. I'm also hosting a PICU, Pediatric Intensive Care Unit package drive for families whose children may be in the hospitals. So those are just a few initiatives to look forward to.
Nice. All the best and good luck to you for whatever you're doing. These are all phenomenal initiatives and much needed in the current day and age. So wish you well in your future endeavors as well, and hope to see you soon again one more time on Southern Spice.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Aditi. Good luck to you. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. All right, so that was Aditi, and God bless her for all the work that she's doing. It is phenomenal for high schooler to be doing so much and to have such a deep understanding and so much knowledge in a particular area, and that too very, very important stuff. So good luck to her. And as I said in the beginning, overachieving youngsters is what Gifted Gabber has been producing and putting out there. So it's phenomenal to see all of these kids. I'll see you again with another interview with another promising youngster. So till then, take care. Thank you so much for watching.